Okay, and we're recording. Okay, so most of you guys already know this, but I'm gonna kind of just run through the drill again. We're gonna set up our palettes tonight like this. This is what my palette looks like. Okay, so I have a lot of green. I've got some yellow and blue on either side of my green. I've got a good chunk of white over here, a little black, my regular just dark brown, and then my red brown over here. Dark brown, red brown, just a little bit, okay? So those of you who have kits from me, you can go ahead and just empty your tubs. Don't empty all of your tubs. You want to leave, maybe 50 or 75%, or I'm sorry, you want to leave about 25% or 50% in your tubs still in case you don't finish tonight. That way you can go back tomorrow and work on it and you have fresh paint. But anyway, this is how you want to set up your palette tonight, okay? We're going to be using two different brushes. Okay, I have a size 3 round and I have a detail brush, and that can be anything from a size 1 on down, however teeny tiny you want to get. And our other super helpful tool tonight is going to be a Sharpie, just a good old black Sharpie. Mine's got a pretty good point on it, so you don't want a dull one because we're going to want to be making some dots as well as writing our words. Okay, and that brings me to also our painting. I haven't showed you that yet. So this is our painting for the night. As I mentioned, we do our writing with Sharpie, so you don't have to paint that, as well as all of these black dots. That can be done with Sharpie as well. You can paint them if you want to do that. That's up to you, your call, but I'm going to teach it with Sharpie tonight, okay? The other thing I recommend is pulling up the painting on, if you have an extra iPad or an extra computer or your phone. Go ahead and scroll down a few posts and on the Humble Life page, pull up the painting. That way you can have it for reference, because I don't always show it often throughout the class. So that could be helpful for you, just so that you can kind of refer to it back and forth if you miss a step or something like that. Let's see. The last thing before we get started, we're going to be using acrylic paint. So I already went over the palette with you, but try to avoid mixing water with your paint tonight. We want really bold, thick color. And if you start mixing water with your paint, even though I know that's kind of the tendency, it's gonna make it even more transparent, and it's gonna take it a while longer to dry. So we want bold colors, and we want it to dry quick, okay? And water will do the opposite. So we don't wanna do that at all, okay? So anytime you're gonna be using water, wash your brush with it, but then get all the water off of your bristles and off of this metal part as well too, okay guys? So my paint area looks kind of like this. I'm right-handed, so I have my canvas in front of me. I've got my paper towel, and then I've got my water cup right here, and then my brushes, Sharpie, and then my palette is also right over here as well. It's kind of off to the side, you can't see it, but that way I can do all my mixing and everything I need to do just right here. And so you might want to set up your area similarly. Okay. I think that's everything. We'll see. If there's something I forgot, then I'll remind you. Okay, so let's look at our painting one more time tonight before we get started. So there's no background color. It's just white canvas, okay? So if you want a color in your background, you're more than welcome to do that, but I would do it quickly because I'm gonna get going on our Sharpie part. But any light color will work. You really want contrast. I think that's what really works with this painting, is just really good bright color and contrast. And we have a lot of different shapes that are kind of happening. And so it's a fun painting. It's actually one of my favorites. And it's fun to teach too. So we're gonna jump right in. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is oh, hi Ellie. Hi, Brian. Is she going to bed? Yeah. No. Mwah. Good night. Oh, you did. That made everything all better. That's awesome. Okay, so we are going to start with our Sharpie tonight. So go ahead and grab your Sharpie. And I want you to make sure, first and foremost, that your canvas is sitting in front of you in portrait position, which means up and down. You don't want it sitting landscape, because you'll start painting on it in landscape. But actually, to be honest with you guys, this painting could go either way. If you turned it this way, it would have just as great of an impact. So You can decide which way you want your painting to go. And in fact, later, we'll start painting this because it's in the round, right? You can even turn it different ways as you're painting it. And you might decide that paint upside down actually looks better compositionally later than the way you actually painted it. So anyway, decide which way you think you want to paint your painting, okay? And we'll start that way. We're gonna start with our Sharpie, okay? So the first thing that we're gonna do is decide how big we want our circle in the middle to be, okay? Maybe you're just gonna be writing one word, and so you'd prefer your circle just to be a lot smaller. You know, you can fit like joy or love just right there, really nice and tight and small. Or maybe you'd prefer a really nice, big, wide circle with a lot of white space, okay? So whatever it is that you want, go ahead and decide what that is. Now, I'm gonna do mine about a Sharpie's length, okay? So I put the cap on my Sharpie, okay? So this is the length that this is the width that my circle is pretty much gonna be all the way around, and I'm gonna use this to measure, okay? So I'm gonna kind of find the center of my canvas, and I'm just gonna like gently just kind of set my Sharpie right in the middle there, okay? And then right at the bottom of it, maybe a little up, I'm gonna put a dot at the bottom here, okay? Can you kind of see that dot? One little dot. And I guess that's what, 3 inches, 2.5 inches up from the bottom. Okay, so you could do this again where you put your Sharpie in the middle and you put your dot up here, or you could take your Sharpie and measure from the bottom, from your dot to the bottom of the canvas and just bring it over here. Okay, and then put your dot up here. Whatever works for you. So now you have 2 dots.
I think I want to go down here more. I think it'll get covered.
Okay. So 2 nice little dots. I'm gonna make mine a little bit bigger just so that you can kind of see them better instead of small ones, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put them out to the side, and no matter how big here is, you're gonna probably wanna go in about 1 inch on either side over here. Okay, so find your middle and travel over roughly about 1 inch. Same over here. Okay. Give or take. Okay, so now you have a pretty good map of what your circle can be. So what I like to do is I'm gonna kind of, in my brain, I'm drawing a circle. So I'm gonna kind of draw a couple of dots, rounded dots. So they will not be, see how if you were to draw a line from here to here, that would not make a circle, right? So you have to kind of come out a little bit, okay? So do that, kind of come out a little bit so that you can make yourself a circle. And the cool thing about this, it does not have to be a perfect circle or oval, okay? If one of your dots accidentally comes in too far or is out too far, that is okay. There's gonna be a lot of room in here for fixing stuff like that because there's so many dots. You can really like carve around here with other dots later to make it more smooth, okay? So honestly, at this point, you can do as many dots as you want to make a circle. I'm gonna go around, and I always like to just put them in the middle. And I just go around. And right now, I did my big dots first, my 4 big dots, just so that you could see them. But when I'm putting my dots in, now I'm just doing them the size of the tip of my Sharpie. Okay, so I'm just pressing, and that's my dot. Pressing, that's my dot. So I'm just going around, making my dots. And you can see, like mine is not a perfect circle. You know, there's some like, it's kind of wiggly. This side kind of bows a little bit, okay? So that's okay.
Well, yeah, but you can also like stagger stuff. You can, like, you don't have to do it. Hers is so very like straight. You can just like put it out.
No, I like the way mine is.
Sorry, guys.
Go for it. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So do as many dots as you want. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna do a ton of dots later. This is just kind of a map for us. Okay, so this space in here is just gonna stay pure white. So we've just protected this area. Everything out here is gonna get painted, okay? So I'm gonna put my Sharpie away. And I'm going to grab my detail brush first. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna paint some stems. So I have my detail brush, and I just mix a good medium brown. Okay, this can be any shade of brown that you want. If you're trying to match something in your home, or if you just don't care, you know, I just take about 50% dark brown, 50% red brown, and mix them together and get just a good medium brown.
Is this the smallest tipped brush, or is it the second smallest?
You want your smallest brush. Yeah, your teeniest.
Is that black and brown?
This is red brown and dark brown.
Okay.
So my two browns I'm mixing together, just equal parts. That's what I'm doing, but it's up to you what kind of shade of brown you want for your stems to be. Whatever you feel like. Maybe you just want it to be the dark brown, which is totally fine. Whatever it is. And so whenever we mix a color with a small brush especially, we don't want big gunks. My brush is like totally covered in paint, so I'm just gonna roll it a little bit on my palette. I'm forgetting words tonight. Palette, canvas, paintbrush, these basic words. They're like big sticky notes over here. Okay, so I'm rolling my brush on my palette just to get those gunks off. And I'm even gonna take it over here to my paper towel a little bit and just kind of wipe off some of that too. Okay, all right. So the first fern that we're gonna paint, I almost said plant. The first fern is gonna be this guy right here. So let me break this painting down for you really quickly. If you notice, there's 4 of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there's 4 of these guys too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then these eucalyptus guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these lime green things that I made up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's basically how we do this. It's pretty great. We'll paint all 4 of these. Then we'll paint all 4 of these, and we'll just kind of travel around until it's nice and full. And then any area that's not full, which I'm pretty sure you'll get pretty full with this, you can just, you know, pop in whatever you feel like you need to just to make it work, okay? Okay, so let's start. So we're gonna start with this guy right here. Okay, so notice his shapes. We jump up and we curve over and come down. So I'll go through that in just a second, but let's go ahead and get our stem on here, okay? So you want to put this first one up in the top area. Really, you can put this anywhere in the top, okay? But I'm going to put it pretty central. And my stem isn't going to be perfectly straight. It's going to be a little bit curved, and I'm going to curve over this direction for me. So I'm going to kind of draw my line, just kind of coming down and around, kind of a curve like so. And I'm using my detail brush because I want a really nice thin line. All right, now I'm not gonna wash my brush. I'm gonna just pop it in the water, and I'm gonna grab my size 3. And I'm gonna go right in to my green that's on my palette. I'm not gonna mix it with anything. I'm just gonna use this nice pure green. Okay, and you're gonna notice this green tends to be a little bit transparent.
I got 2 4s.
Yeah, closest would be your 4s.
So the 4, we have a 2 and a 4.
I have 2 4s.
I might use your 4. Just see what's most comfortable to you. Yeah. See what you feel like.
The flat brush or the rounded one?
Round brush.
2 4s.
Your round.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you want your rounds. Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. That's totally cool.
I gave you guys a lot of options. Just
You did. That's normally not good with us. We're so
only
indecisive.
because
Only give us one
the
choice.
leaves, sometimes with leaves, like the brush can literally make the shape.
Right.
Gotcha.
Just kind of gave you guys a few options. Sorry.
No, you're fine. We're just confused. We're not that expert.
That's
learning.
exactly right, though. That's exactly right. So this brush will really help us make our shape, okay? So Amy, you're right on with that. So I'm gonna start at the top here, okay? And I'm gonna make a just kind of a traditional shaped leaf. I'm gonna kind of come down. It's almost like a pear. Got a little nice point to it. Get really close so you guys can see that. Okay, and I'm gonna just go ahead and fill that in just so you can really see it well. You can go ahead and fill it in too. You can see your paint's pretty transparent. That's okay. It's all right if you see your canvas kind of coming through a little bit. We're gonna do 2 coats on everything. Okay, now these leaves out to the side are a little bit different. I'm gonna start at the bottom. That's just works best for me. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a little bit of stem here, okay? But I'm going to jump out and swing over, okay? So I jumped off my stem and I swing over. And you wanna be nice and wide towards the bottom. I also don't want you guys to worry about being too big. All of these plants are gonna overlap each other. That's what we want. So it's totally fine if you wanna stretch these leaves out and make them nice and wide and big. On the bottom here, I'm just gonna scoop up. Okay, so you kind of see how that works. I jump up, swing over, and then I just scoop on back. Okay, that's my basic shape that I'm gonna do all the way up. But as I go up, I'm gonna gradually get smaller and smaller. And I'm gonna mirror this on the other side. So I'm gonna swoop up, swing over, meet it on the bottom. Jump up, swoop over, meet it on the bottom. Jump up, swoop over. And you'll start to get faster. You'll start to trust yourself a little bit more with this. And I'm just following my stem, the curve of my stem. We're all gonna have a different amount of leaves. But notice how I'm getting smaller as I go up. Okay. Once I have all these shapes, I'm just gonna fill them in. And we want nice, thin layers of paint. You will see your canvas. We want nice, thin layers so that it dries nice and quick. And this first layer, you know, when you're filling it in, it might even look a little bit messy to you. Mine does, and that's totally fine because when we do that second coat, it's gonna really polish it up, okay? So I don't know if you guys can see that. Stretching my canvas funky. So this is the recipe for all 4 of our ferns, okay? So I'm gonna keep painting and you guys can watch the placement and I want you to just keep working on yours as well. So remember, we drop down to our detail brush to do our stem. I'm gonna do mine on the side here. And because we only have about an inch here, I'm gonna just kind of curve it over. And then I'm gonna stretch it across the side of my canvas also. Okay, so I've got my stem. Okay, I'm gonna lose my detail brush, just put it in the water. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. It is gonna feel kind of funny over here because it's so small and it wraps around, but just do your best. Remember, you want nice wide leaves at the bottom. We jump up, go over, and swoop down. Jump up, swoop over, They're like little mustaches. So I'm turning mine because it's just easier for me to draw on the side like this.
Are we doing the second layer right now on our leaves that we just did, or are we waiting till it
We're
dries?
gonna wait. Yeah,
Okay.
wait till it dries. By the time you get your fourth fern done way over here, this first one will be dry.
Right.
You can just very easily just go on around. Yeah.
Good.
And you may or may not get to paint the top leaf on this side fern over here. Whatever works for your painting, however big this guy gets. And now I'm just filling in my leaves. Now you all do not have to paint as fast as I'm painting. Don't feel like you have to keep up with me. I'm just gonna keep on going around just so you can kind of see how it evolves. And you're just doing the same thing 4 times. But it is slightly different just because, you know, you are turning your canvas and you want to angle them, you know, a little bit differently just so they all have a slightly different personality. And just remember to jump down to your detail brush for your stem. And you'll notice if you don't, you'll get a much thicker stem than I think you want. We want our stems to stay pretty dainty. So I'm gonna do mine at the bottom here. And I'm gonna angle it down. I'm gonna do it right pretty much in the middle here. This will be a nice long one. I'll get the full plant here. Since I'm here, I'm gonna just go ahead and put my stem over here also. So on this side, I angled up with my stem. So I'm gonna angle down on this side just to give it some variety. Okay, so I just put in my 2 stems there. I'm gonna switch back over. And remember, we're just using our basic green. We haven't mixed anything with it yet. Okay, so instead of painting this one upside down, I'm gonna turn it so that it's right side up. Okay, so you might wanna do that too because we're kind of in this flow of jumping up, swinging over, and swinging down. You don't wanna do that upside down. Jumping up, swinging over and around. Jumping up and around. Okay. Are y'all kind of getting the hang of these leaves okay?
Yeah.
Sense? Okay, cool. You can really make them whatever shape you want as long as each plant is a slightly different shape. Everything will be a different color or each plant will be a different shade of green, you know, but you do want different shapes as well. So whatever shape you're doing, just keep doing it.
Oh, where'd you get that? From there.
no idea.
Oh boy.
This is white.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
All right.
Notice I'll take that watch off.
Okay, I'm gonna move over to my last one over here, out to the side. But I'm gonna turn it again. Once y'all learn how to do this, I mean, each plant has its own little personality. You can apply this to any kind of composition. I've done this kind of painting for tons of people that just want like a simple custom with like their initial in the middle or a baby's name or all kinds of things. I've done dates for people. So once you know how to do this, you can really apply it to anything. It's really versatile. Or you can plug in a couple of flowers here and there. You can really make it whatever you want it to be. Okay, painting on the sides is getting a little crazy here. Okay. Okay. So I've got my 4 done. I'm going to give you guys a minute to kind of catch up. But now my first one is definitely dry. And I think by the time I get back around, my last one will even be dry. So the second coat always goes quicker because you don't have to draw. You just simply cover the shape that you've already done. And I can usually do it in 2 or 3 little brush strokes real quick. And really, a second coat is really all you need. It really covers it up nicely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't forget the clear one at the top.
So Christina and Patty, do you guys have like a gallery wall of all of your paintings? Are you putting them all in one place?
It's right behind this
Yeah.
computer. Here, I'll show
That's
you.
awesome.
Look.
Motivated. Oh, that's awesome.
Mine's in my office.
That's great. I love that.
Yeah, I was looking for a gift for a girlfriend for her birthday. And I'm like, I gotta run out. And my husband says, why don't you just gift her one of your paintings in the kitchen?
That's awesome. They make the best gifts.
Yeah.
I painted this just for you.
I didn't, but it was a funny idea.
Yeah. Okay. I'm almost done with my second coat, going all the way around. How are you guys doing?
I'm on the third.
Okay.
We're only on the third.
Excellent. That's okay. That's good. Okay. All right, I'm gonna jump over real quick and check on our other painter and see if he's coming.
Makes your eyes water? Maybe.
So I'm gonna give you guys about another minute or so just to get your last one done. You got to do your second coat too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh.
Amy, how you doing? You're good.
I'm on the third one.
Okay. Cool. That's cool.
You know me and my leaves.
Yeah, you got to make them good.
Oh, we're supposed to be doing our second coat? Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No worries. I do my second coat after I finished the first coat of my fourth leaf. By then, you can probably go back around your circle and get your second coat on there. But you'll see as you get going, the second coat goes so quick. It doesn't take much to fill it. Do you guys have much rain there?
It actually just started raining here. I'm in Safety Harbor. I'm at my mom's house. Is it raining by you, Amy?
Yes, it is. It's pouring here.
It is.
It just started pouring just a little bit ago.
It came off the Gulf, so
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the opposite way that it's been going. Yes, but yeah, today was like the first sunny day we've had in like what 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days.
Because of Sally.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like I was back in Cleveland.
Yeah.
April, you're in Texas, right?
I am.
How is it there? Are you getting anything from Sally yet?
No, well, the past few days were rainy. We got at least a shower a day. You know, it felt like we were in Florida, you know, afternoon showers. But
Right.
today, nothing. There's a few clouds in the sky, but not much. It's just really humid. Just, ugh, humid.
That's the tropics.
Mm-hmm. We had our first like mini cold snap a couple nights ago.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such a tease. It was like, yes, it's here, and now it's summer again.
Gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're just like Florida. It's just you have summer, 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 and then you have like a tiny, just a smidge of winter, and then it goes back to summer again.
Where in Texas are you?
I'm in Caldwell, which is right in the middle of Austin and Houston.
Cool.
Tiny little town, right off the highway.
You know where Georgetown is?
I do.
Yeah, we have good friends. Christina used to babysit their kids when we were in California, but they went back home and they're in Georgetown now. They're originally from Austin.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love all the little towns around in Texas. I mean, the cities are fun too, but there's like a lot of like just good little charm and character.
Right.
April, what's happening at Frog Joy?
Not much. They built a I don't remember the last time you saw it, what was happening there, but they built on
It was your wedding.
oh wow.
I know.
Wow. Okay. So they built an
Oh.
upstairs.
That's not true.
Did you see the bunkhouse that they built? I feel like you've seen it since the wedding.
I have, because it was when Elijah was born.
Did you go out to the farm at that point?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like you did.
One night we did.
Yeah, but I don't think anything was built then. I think it was kind of the same from what I remember. I don't remember, honestly. But they built this really cool grandkid bunkhouse.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. Taylor's dad built 4 beds that bunk with these cool little stairs that climb up, and they all have their own little reading light and their own little, name and everything, and there's special pillows, and it's cute. It's really cute.
So cute.
And they extended their bedroom. So like, the room that used to be their bedroom is now the living room.
Okay.
And so they built their bedroom off the back part, and they're talking about expanding even more. They're going to build an indoor kitchen next. Right now they have the outdoor kitchen with the big wraparound porch. Yeah. So they're going to build an indoor kitchen and a little dining room. So it's really cute though. They're doing a good job.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Get out there.
What's really fun is just the kids can just go and be totally safe and just be kids, boys. I mean, they just have this dirt pile that they just go run the water hose, and they get their trucks and they build forts and they build all like volcanoes. I mean, it's just really cool. They just spend forever out there. So it's nice. They can just go be boys.
How's the garden?
It's cute. This year, Kathy planted like tons of flowers, and it was just super whimsical and kind of crazy. And then Steve did like tomatoes and zucchini and squash, beans, blackberries, chives, some other stuff. I don't know, all kinds of stuff over there. But it's just all kind of growing together and just kind of funky and cool. So they're just cool. It's just cool out there.
I know, it is. Such a good vibe.
Yeah. We're starting to like put our feelers out for some land. We just want to build something kind of weird and cool and get some gardens going so we can start growing our herbs that we're going to be putting in our products and do it that way instead of buying it all the time. We'd love to start like distilling. So that's long-term goals, but
Like going on.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So how are you doing?
I'm on my third.
Your second coat?
Yeah. Third branch, second coat.
Cool. Okay.
I'm done my second coat. Oh, look at you. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Charity is more perfect than mine. Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna look.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get us going on our next part for time's sake. I mean, we're doing pretty good on time. Let's get us through the second part. We're gonna do the silver dollar eucalyptus. So it's these wider leaves. And these, I think they go pretty quick because there's not so many leaves. They're these guys right here. They're nice and flat and wide. Okay, so I'll break this down for you real quick. And we're gonna do the same thing. We'll do one up at the top, and then we'll just kind of go around our clock and kind of plug them in. So I'm gonna do the same thing where I have my detail brush, and I'm gonna use the same color for my stem for all of my plants. You're welcome to change up the stem color if you want to, make it a slightly different brown. whatever you want to do.
We still don't want to rinse our green brush, right?
I mean, it's up to you. You can pop it in the water just to get that green off and start fresh, because we're going to mix a new green here in a minute. So whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to draw my stem pretty much in the middle of these two, because then I'm going to put one on either side here. So I'm going to go in the middle of these two, and I'm going to draw kind of a slightly wavy, kind of wonky line. I don't know if you can see that real close. I'm going to draw this a little bit thicker, darker for you so you can see. And this stem is going to have branches on it. Okay, so this is going to have one at the bottom here. Then it's going to have one kind of up here at the top-ish. I'll get this a little bit thicker so you can see it. And remember, you want to keep yours pretty thin. I'm doing mine a little bit thicker so that it shows up better for you guys and you guys can really see it. And keep yours nice and thin. Now, each time you do this, when you go around, each one of your plants, these are little eucalyptus, so each one of these silver dollar eucalyptus is going to be pretty much the same stem. You're going to go up, and then you're going to do one out to the side, one lower, and one upper. So you'll plant them, you know, but it'll be the same thing, okay? So I'm going to jump over to my size 3 brush, and I'm going to show you how to mix this color. It's kind of a lighter green, but it's like a lighter blue green. So what I'm going to do is I've got all the water off of my brush. I'm going to grab some white and bring it over right in between my blue and green. And I'm going to mix my blue and green together here, but I want to be heavier on the green. I'm using my size 3. And really, you guys, I mean, I think you know the drill. You really just want to be mixing a color that you enjoy looking at, but a color that's different than the last green that you were using. So obviously it's going to be different because we're mixing blue and white with it. So just make sure it's a color that looks pretty to you. This green may not need a second coat depending upon how much white you mix in with it. We'll see when we start painting. It might be nice and opaque. That white really helps. Okay, so this is about where I've landed. I don't know what that lighting does for you guys, but I'm right there. I've got blue, green, and white, mostly green and white. Okay, but yours might be a little bit different depending upon what shade exactly you want. So I think we can go around and do our silver dollar eucalyptus, and then it'll be pretty much 8 o'clock and we can take a 5-minute break. And you can finish doing your second coat on your first ferns that we did and your second coat if you want to on your silver dollar eucalyptus as well. Okay, so I'll show you guys how to do these. These are very easy. I think you'll like them. I like them because they're a nice flat, wide leaf. And remember, you can make these as big as you want, and you might actually start overlapping a little bit, okay? So that gets really fun. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this top leaf up here. I think you can see this, my hand in the way. I'm gonna come out nice and wide and come to a little point. So it's almost as if I was drawing an oval down here, a wide oval with a little bit of a point.
Okay.
So I'm using my size 3. I think you guys have a 4. But use whatever brush you feel comfortable using. You know, I've had people do this entire painting in a detail brush just because they had more control and they liked making really super crisp points on their leaves. So if that's you, a detail brush might be what you want. It does take longer, just FYI though. So don't put your arm in your freshly painted fern when you do this next one, but I'm gonna do another leaf right out here, out to the side. It's gonna be just a little bit smaller, but not by much, nice and wide. I'm gonna fill it in. And I'm gonna do another one out here.
You hear my husband
Yeah,
with the dog in the other room. Sorry.
that's all good. I don't mind. Okay, so I'm gonna probably go around, I'll do all of these and then I might go back and do a second coat just because I can see a little bit of my canvas coming through. We'll see. But that's really how you do those. It's very simple and it's gonna be the same thing all the way around. So I'll show you where I'm gonna plug in my other ones and you guys can kind of go at your own pace and just travel around and get my stem color. So let's see my next one, where is it? Okay, it's down here. So I'm gonna turn my canvas again so that I'm painting right side up. It's just easier for me. And I'm gonna aim it out towards this corner. And you know, every one will be just slightly different. However you wanna do it, same recipe. So this time my stem is a little bit different. But ultimately I'm gonna have 3 leaves. So whatever you need to do to get to 3 leaves. Okay, so there's my stem. And here's my leaves.
How you doing, babe? Oh, you're ahead of me now.
Now I'm just gonna fill them in. Okay. Are y'all getting this leaf shape okay? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just keep them round and as wide as you kind of can. That's the trick. Okay. I'm gonna jump back over to my detail brush and do my stem. I'm gonna aim for this corner now. If you ever draw your stem too long, like I did up here, I just painted my leaf right over my stem. See how it's kind of just coming through? So you can cover that up really easily. Even if it takes 2 coats, it'll cover. Try to get nice, crisp lines on the outside of your leaves. I know that the texture of this canvas is very hard sometimes to get crisp lines, but it'll look really nice if you can. And try to make each of your leaves a slightly different size. So I'm gonna start overlapping. I don't know if you guys have started that at all, but I'm gonna be overlapping right on top of this guy. So that's why it's important that you have not only a different shape leaf, but you have a different color. So just remember, whenever you're mixing your colors, as long as it's a different color than the last color you painted with, you're doing good. Just keep up that variety. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to my last eucalyptus branch. It's gonna be in the middle over here. Kind of aim it up towards that corner. Okay. Also, don't be afraid to wrap your leaves around the side of your canvas if you need to. I'm wrapping on this side over here. Okay. All right, so I'm on my last leaf over here and I've reached the top. I'm back at the top of my canvas. So I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna do my second coat. And just kind of level everybody out. Get them all nice and flat. Crisp edges. It doesn't really take much of a second coat at all on these eucalyptus with this white. Some may not even have to do it. If y'all have enough white mixed in, you can skip this part completely. Yeah, some of mine don't even need it, so that might be the case for you too. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all, I know you're not done yet, but I'm just gonna show you where we are and where we're going so you can kind of see the difference and how it's beginning to kind of come together. And it's 8:04 my time. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break. Maybe 5 minutes or so, give you guys a chance to finish your eucalyptus leaves and do your second coat if you need to. Did you guys have any questions so far on your leaf shapes? Are you guys okay? Your stem's coming out okay? Okay. Cool. I'm gonna go call my kids and say goodnight. and I'll come back in about 5 minutes or so, and we will, let's see, which ones are we gonna do next? It looks like we're gonna do, these limey green guys next that are right next to our eucalyptus, okay? So that's what we're moving on to next. They've got a few more branches off of them, so they might take a little bit longer. All right, you guys, I'll be back.
Nope. Start snoring. Oh, that's interesting. There's some logic update. It's probably some science he needs watching on. Use overlap. How about you? Mine look like turnips. Like, I did look like turnips. Thanks, Mom. No, I'm just saying the leaf itself, not yours. Oh, on mute. Amy can hear everything we're saying. Look at her. Sorry, Amy.
Oh, it's all good. I feel like I'm there with you guys.
Yeah, you are. Oh, sorry. Watch your canvas. Hey, stay in your space. Stay in your lane. I don't know about you guys, but my stems look terrible.
I never can make a good stem.
Like you think that you get it in a good motion and then you go to fill it back in because it's like it's just like, well,
It
that
just, like, blows up.
and then it becomes super thick.
Yep.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Definitely not.
Urban peppers.
Hi, Duke. He keeps coming in to check on us to say, you still at this?
He was just like whining 2 seconds ago.
My brain is. Hi! It looks different on my palette than it does when it dries.
How's it going, you guys? You having any issues?
We're painting.
Good. That's great. Are your leaves coming out the way you want them to? Or close?
I was saying mine look like turnips more than leaves, but it's fine. And my mom goes, yeah, they do. I'm like, thanks.
No, I think all of them, the shape of the leaf in general, not just hers, looks like a little turnip. It's all right.
I mean, they could be anything. I don't even know if all of these plants actually really exist. They just, they're leafy, they have stems, so you can make them whatever you want. Mhm.
I don't know where this white keeps coming from, but it keeps getting all over me.
Mhm. How are you doing, Amy?
Good.
Getting there?
So my eucalyptus is like really blue. I don't know if you can.
Pretty.
Oh, that is pretty.
Should I?
Oh, I like that.
I like
Just
it.
leave it? All right, it's gonna stay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're okay with it, I think it's really pretty because if you look, I don't know how the lighting is on your screen, but like, see this sky, how dark it is?
Yeah.
It has a lot of blue in it, but it's just really nice and dark. See the contrast there?
Mhm.
I think it'll be really pretty.
So maybe I could
This
use
is
the
so
rest of mine
light,
just- Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
I think it'll work really well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it'll make this next plant that we do pop because it's like a yellowy green.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna make it really pop. So I think it'll be good.
Cool.
Unless the only thing I would say is if it's gonna bug you, then run over it with some green.
I mean, I've always liked turquoise, so
There you go. You have. It's
I
true.
do.
Cool. Okay. So I'm getting my detail brush clean. We're gonna work on our next plant. This guy is a little bit crazy. Every one is different, but it's the same formula, okay? It's the same idea 4 times. But if you look at it, it's just kind of crazy. It's gonna be this guy right here, this lime green. Okay, so see how he has one main stem, but then he's got these like little crazy whimsies that jump off, right? They're all a little bit different. Let me find the other one for you. right here, this guy. Okay, and then the other one in this corner. So they're all a little bit different. They're all just kind of all over the place. But then the last one that we're going to do is this dark blue, dark green one. And he's very symmetrical and easy on your brain. Very nice to do. So we'll do the crazy one first and just get it out of the way. And then we can do our nice, calm, symmetrical fern to end before we do our wording and our dots and everything. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got my my detail brush nice and clean, but I'm going to go ahead and clean my number 3 also. Get all the water off, and I'm going to mix this next color. And let's see, he overlaps your silver dollar eucalyptus, the one that we just did, and he seems to overlap the fern that we did originally too. Okay, so you are going to want to get your coats done on those and everybody before you start working on this next plant. So I'll give you guys just a second or so to kind of get that done so you can feel peaceful. I'm going to run another coat of brown on some of my stems real quick. They're looking a little bare here. Okay. So this next color is very limey. So, you know, it's kind of like how we did our blue and our green with our white. We're going to take white and we're going to mix it with our green and our yellow. And once again, you can make this whatever shade of green you want.
Did we already do the branches? Or
No,
the stems?
I haven't done the branches yet. Nope, I'm just mixing the color
Okay.
of the leaf just so that it's all ready to go. Just getting my color. I like to make mine a little bit more yellowy than I would normally be comfortable with, just because the contrast is just really beautiful once it's painted and it's dried. Having that yellow pop is just really, really nice. Normally I don't typically like this color very much, but in this painting it just really works well. So I recommend mixing more yellow than you feel comfortable doing. The end result is just really pretty. But still mix a good amount of green and a good amount of white because we do want it to be nice and opaque, and the yellow tends to be a bit transparent. So this is kind of where I'm at with this color. It's gonna be pretty. Okay. All right, got my detail brush. So I've got my color mixed. And now I'm jumping over to my detail brush to do my stem. I'm gonna mix a little more of my stem color. You might need to do that too. It's just your 2 browns mixed together. If your paint is getting a little bit gunky, like mine kind of is, you can add just the teeny tiniest bit of water, just a little bit in there. It will help, not too much. You don't want it to be runny, okay? All right. Okay, let me look at this stem here. Okay. I don't know which way is up, which way original way was. I think it was this way. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's start. So I'm gonna now put this in between my eucalyptus and my second fern. Okay, so this was my first fern. I have a space, eucalyptus, space, second fern, right? So I'm gonna be putting it right in between here. Okay, the last leaf that I'm gonna do, the last fern is gonna be going here. But now we're over here, okay? So I'm gonna do like a wavy line. 1, 2, like maybe 2, 3 curves here. So I'm gonna go up, kind of like just a wavy line. And then out at the bottom, out of one side, I'm gonna come out. And then I'm gonna mirror that on the other side and come out. See, I'm already overlapping. So I'm coming out on either side down here. And on one side, I'm gonna pick this side. I'm gonna come out again. So we're just making some branches here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 total. So I've got 3. Oop, that's a big chunk. 4, 5. I might need to go up more. There's a leaf on top. That'll be my 6th, 7th, and I'll fit another one right in here. So everybody's is going to be a little bit different. But do you see how many little branches I've got going there? So I fit 8 total. Then I'm going to switch over to my size 3. And this leaf is the same as the first fern that we did on top. This shape right up here, not these mustache guys, but this top one. Okay, it's like a smaller eucalyptus almost, okay? It's a little bit more oval than circular. And now these leaves are pointed they're aiming outwards towards their stem, okay? So let me see if this paint is gonna be opaque enough for you to see. I'm just gonna start at the bottom and I'm gonna work my way up. So I'm just doing a pretty traditional leaf shape here. And I'm definitely overlapping. You can't see this one too well because the paint is kind of transparent and I'm painting over a darker area. This one you'll be able to see pretty well. And honestly, you know, you can make these as big or as long and wide as you want them to. Just make them a different shape than what you've painted before. So when you're done, you should have 8 leaves total. And they're all a slightly different size. And they're overlapping. Okay, they're definitely gonna need a second coat. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back over to my detail brush. And let's see, 2, 3. My next one down here, he only has about 6 leaves. So I'm gonna do 6 stems for him. But I mean, do whatever fits in your composition. Okay, so remember, you have the first fern, you have eucalyptus, then your new branch, then your first fern, eucalyptus, and then your new branch, okay? So remember where you're putting it. So we're skipping this space over here, or we're jumping all the way over here. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of a weird squiggle line. And you can do 6 to 8 little branches, however that looks, whatever you want that to look like. You know, you might want to angle them purposefully kind of around your eucalyptus, or maybe you want to angle them so they land right on top, however you want that to be composed. Maybe you even want more than 8. Maybe you really want to fill that area out well. Okay, whatever that looks like for you. That's what mine's gonna look like. I ended up with 2, 4, 6. I ended up with 7 over here. I'm gonna switch over to my 3 and start putting in those leaves. Okay. Moving right along, I'm gonna jump over back down to my detail brush and just keep on going around. Same idea. So this one's gonna be over here, okay. Yep. This is a tiny little area over here for me. You might have run into something like that because I'm right over by my edge here. So you can either run this off the side if you want to, or you can end it, whatever you want it to look like. Okay, switching over. So hopefully by the time I get back around to the top, my first set will be dry and I can go over and do my second coat. Y'all getting this leaf shape okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of random.
Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on to my last one up here. Does that make sense? Let's see. Yeah. So remember, you want to do about 6 to 8 leaves, depending. I don't know, maybe you want to do more. Whatever the composition allows you to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do one more. Okay. So the leaves, if you really break it down, it's kind of like doing a set of parentheses where the top part of the parentheses touch, they meet. So if you draw yourself some parentheses, just make a little point at the top. That might help break down, getting the shape.
There you are. Breathe in.
Okay. All right, so I've got mine done. Now I'm gonna go back to my first set and get that second coat on there. Yeah. Okay. And remember that second coat goes pretty quick. Since you've already done the hard part of drawing, you're just covering. And this brush really lends itself well to this leaf shape. You can really lay the brush down and cover pretty quickly. Okay. Okay, I've got a nice, happy green smear on the top of mine because I dropped my painting. So if that happens to you, one thing you want to do is just let that dry completely. Or if that happens anywhere in your circle, if you get any smudges in your circle, which we really don't want, we want that to be nice and clean. You want this to just dry totally, completely. And then you can layer some white paint over it. It will take a few layers though, because it's so transparent. But I'm gonna do my first layer. Nice thin layer. So it dries quick. There we go. All right, guys, I'll give you a few minutes to get these lime green leaves done and get your second coats done. We've got one more to go. We're on the home stretch. All right, you guys. Oh, I've got another smudge. How did I manage that? Goodness. Let me get that one real quick. Our last fern is one of my favorites. It's very symmetrical, like I mentioned before. And I love making the shapes, and it's very easy. So I think it's a good one to end on. I'm gonna go grab my charger real quick from my computer, and then I'll be back and we'll go through mixing the color. Okay. All right, so our last color that we need to mix is going to be this really pretty dark blue-green for this guy. So I'm going to just mix, I'm going to grab a big old chunk of green and bring it over here by my blue. So I'm going to mix blue and green together. And just kind of see what happens here. This might be all we need to do. See how rich we can get it. All right, it's getting pretty rich, but just not quite. Let me see if I can grab some more green. So I would say pretty equal parts here, equal parts blue to green. So it is kind of on the bluer side. It's really nice and dark. If you want it to be even darker than what it is, you can add a touch of black. But I'm gonna add it just to show you what happens. It will kind of dull your color a little bit. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. It makes it darker, but it kind of just dulls it out a little bit, so it's not as vibrant. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It just depends on the look that you're going for, okay? If you want more vibrancy, I would avoid it, but if you want kind of a more calm color, add a little bit of black to it, just a little. You'll see it's pretty powerful. It can really change the color quickly, okay? But remember too, I always say it, but mix a color that you enjoy looking at, okay? That's your main goal. And I'm using my paper towel to just kind of get all those gunks off. I'm not washing it because I'm going to use this color, but okay. And then of course, get your detail brush, get some more of your stem color ready. Okay. Here we go. Last part of our painting before we do our dots and our words. So this fern is going to go in your blank spaces. Okay, so you should have 4 left. Mine are here, 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 and here. Okay, so you should have 4 pretty obvious spots that are left. And after we do these 4 spots, if you have more areas that you want to fill in, by all means, keep going. Keep going, fill out more. I'm going to show you the original painting though, so that you can see there are some areas that it's a little bit scarce, like right in here. You know, there's not much going on, and that's okay. I think it's really effective. Down here, you know, not much going on. But those dots really fill in a lot of space too. So you don't want to get too busy. Just kind of depends, right? Okay. So I've got my detail brush. I've got the color of my stem. And the stems are really easy here. Okay. They're nice and long, and they're just like a slightly curvy, wavy line, just slight. Really, however curvy you want. They could be more straighter than what I just did if you want. Okay. And now I'm going to take my size 3, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to work my way up my stem. Let me get you in closer so you can see. And I'm just going to do these little like bubble shapes, mirroring each other, traveling all the way up. Okay. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this first one very well because I'm painting right over one of my eucalyptus leaves, but maybe you are. But it's almost like an oval. And then when it meets the stem, it points. So I'm going to do one there, and then I'm going to do one on the exact opposite side. Okay. So like I said, I don't know if you can see those very well because I'm overlapping some of my green. But let me travel upward. It's almost like you're making a bow. So here we go. I'm going to make my one side, and then I'm going to make my other side. Make my one side, the other side. And you can get as close together as you want here. You can really bunch them up. I like to draw mine, and then I go back and I fill them in. Now, when you get to the very top, you want one that just goes up and around. Mine's going to be going over the side of my canvas here. Okay, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill them in. And these will take a second coat. And when you start painting, you can really see the color for what it is. Decide if you like it or not. If you didn't add black, you can decide if you need to. But I love these. I think they're really easy to do because they mirror each other. If you want to, I kind of did without meaning to. As you get to the top of your stem, you can get smaller and smaller. You don't have to. In the original painting I did on like one of them I didn't. So it's whatever it wants to be. But you are definitely overlapping your other plants at this point, okay? So there's one. And I'm just gonna keep traveling to my 4 blank spots. It's my first leaf. And my second leaf. Okay. And you just kind of want to go with the flow of your stem. Follow where your stem goes and kind of point your leaves in that general area, that direction. Okay. We got one more to go. No, I've got 2 more to go. Just kidding. Got excited there. Okay. I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up. Are y'all getting these shapes okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, remember when you get to the top, it's just one leaf. Comes around the top there. All right, now we're doing the last one. It's gonna be a short little guy over here. Okay. You can always go back, like as I'm painting some of these, I'm noticing I'm painting over my stems a little bit more than I would like to. So you can always go back at the end and pull your stems out a little bit more if you need to, repaint them however you feel like you need to. Okay, so now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do my second coat. Second coat with this shape leaf is very easy. You just press your brush down and pull. You might only need to do like 2 brush strokes per leaf if you have enough paint on there. And as you get to the smaller leaves up towards the top, you might just need to do 1 or just pull once. Goes quick. All right, you guys, I'm finishing up my last second coat here. So I'm gonna go through the next part of this painting, which is the black dots, but I know that y'all are not done yet, and that's totally fine. The black dots you can be as simple or as crazy as you want to be with these. Okay, I've seen this painting done a couple of different ways, and each way is really beautiful. It just kind of depends on your personality and how you want this to look. So when you do have all of your leaves done, I want you to just kind of take a moment and look at your painting for a while. Just kind of stare at it, get some space from it. If you need to like lean it up against something or give it to each other so you can kind of look at it. But look and see if there's anywhere that you want to add another leaf or start changing the composition. Turn it on its side. See what it looks like from all different angles as I'm turning mine. You might like that it looks better upside down than it did right side up, okay? So just decide which way is gonna be up. Or, yeah, to the side. I mean, this is really pretty too. I don't really know. I might do one to the side because I've done so many up and down before. I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna get this away from me. Let's see. So when you have decided which way your canvas is gonna go, what we're gonna start doing with our Sharpie is just filling out our dots. So I don't know if you can see on mine, I don't have very many, okay? So I'm just gonna start working around my circle. Let's see if I can get this angled best for you guys to see without putting my arm in them. And I'm just gonna start making it more dense, okay? Now also, everybody's circle or oval is gonna be a little bit different. Mine is, it's a little bit wonky in some areas. So when I start putting in my dots, I'm gonna kind of like curve it or carve out an area of it to reshape my circle, if that makes sense to you. Like over in this area, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but I get a little bit more pointed than rounded. And so I'm gonna change that just by simply coming in a little bit with some of my dots and changing the angle. Okay, now something about dots. You all can just listen to me talk because I have a lot to say about dots. Especially when you're working with a Sharpie, you have the power to apply a lot of different amounts of pressure to your Sharpie, to your canvas, and you're gonna get a lot of different sizes. And I think that's really important, especially in the beginning here. I could just press my Sharpie down and get a dot. Okay, I can do that all day, right? But when I actually start drawing dots, I'm like drawing a little circle that I'm filling in, okay? That you want to do every once in a while. So I have a lot of different sizes here that you can kind of see, okay? I'm also being relatively quick as I am putting in these dots. And the reason, especially right now, as I'm going around my circle, I'm still sort of hugging the area of my original dots. I'm not venturing out yet, okay? Because as I'm close to this circle, they're very, very dense. And as I spread out, they're gonna get more and more scarce, okay? So anyway, so right now I'm being very close and I'm actually going kind of quick because I don't wanna start putting my dots down in a pattern. Okay, if I start putting them in a pattern and I mess up my pattern, I'm gonna forever go back to that spot that I messed up my pattern, and I don't wanna do that. Okay, so you wanna keep it kind of random. You wanna throw in a couple of big dots every once in a while. Okay, and you wanna go pretty quick. The quicker you go, the less time your brain will have to analyze every little thing that you do and tell you not to do it, right? So just trust your hand Okay. Now I kind of use this like first section of stem for where I'm going to be the most dense. So right when I hit this like first leaf area, right up in here, you see how I'm all stem, and then I get to my first leaf. Beyond this point is when I'm going to start to get a little bit more spread out, okay? Just by a little. So this part does take some time. Depends on what kind of brain you have, if you enjoy stuff like this or not. I kind of do. It's a nice change from doing leaves. And remember, you can be as dense or as simple as you want to be. So I'll show you, this is where I'm at so far. So you can kind of see the difference on my canvas, where I'm getting really dense and where I'm not so much. So this does take a good amount of time. For the sake of time, I'm not going to keep you while I do my entire canvas, because that will take some time. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to do this whole section over here so you can kind of see as I get further out, I'm really just being very, very open and simple with my dots. I mean, I might do a large one here or there, you know, for the sake of consistency. And I'm getting a couple in between my leaves, okay, in between those branches. But remember too, you want to be using the very tip of your Sharpie. You don't want to be coming in at an angle. If you come in at an angle, you might get a dash. We don't want any dashes. We want dots. Okay. Okay, so y'all can see, I'll show you. Okay. Okay, so you can see I've done this part of my canvas. You can kind of see how it's evolving, the density. Okay, and I'll show you the difference between the two so you can see what it's looking like when it's kind of done. Okay. So you want to have lots of concentration around this main circle, okay? And you can use your dots to really make your circle circular, okay? Just keep on kind of going around and look at it from a distance and see if you need to like kind of come in a little bit, okay? Because you can really use this to shape everything the way you want it to be. The other thing is going to be our words. If you've decided what you want to write in the center of your canvas, I don't know if I really have yet. I might just leave this one blank for somebody to tell me what they want. But what you're going to want to do is you have a lot of different options. You know, maybe you've looked online and you found a saying or something, or you found a font that you really love. But since you're writing with a Sharpie, you can take a gel pen, or you can take a pencil. But if you use a pencil, you need to be very careful not to smear the graphite. So just be careful with that. If you want to use a pencil to write out your words first, do it, but just very, very, very faintly. I find that a gel pen works a little bit better. I mean, I would use a dark color, but what happens with a gel pen is if you make a mistake, you can actually just use a Q-tip and use water and take it right off really quickly. So use the water to take it off, and then flip your Q-tip over and use the dry side to just get that water right off your canvas right away. And that works really well. If we were painting, if we had like a black background, I would say use a little bit of chalk. Or maybe you just love your handwriting and you're fine with just using your handwriting. and you don't need to copy somebody else's font, which I think is very great and wonderful. I think everybody's handwriting is really special, so that could be a good thing as well. So if you're nervous about writing, I would recommend just doing like your initials or a special date. You can write numbers, or just like the first letter of your last name, something like that, or joy, love, something where you don't have to write too much. But anyway, use your Sharpie and go really, be very thoughtful, be really nice and slow. If you're doing something kind of complicated, you might want to map it out on some paper first and then put it on. You guys aren't local, but if anybody that's catching the recording is local, some of you are, and you guys want me to do the writing for you, I am more than happy to do that. I also, if you still want to say you did this whole painting by yourself, I'm happy to just map it out for you, and then you can copy that. There's all different options, okay? So, and if you're feeling a little bit tired, I would recommend maybe not doing your writing tonight. Since it's a Sharpie, maybe just wait until you're fresh in the morning or sometime tomorrow. When you haven't been working on your painting for a long time, and you can come back and everything is dry, so you can really put your arm down and not feel like you're gonna smudge or anything like that. That way you can have really beautiful, nice, precise, sharp words. Okay? Okay. Well, we did it, you guys. Do y'all have any questions about stems or leaves or dots or words or anything like that? Yeah. It looks like you guys have all reached the dot part. I see a lot of dotting happening. Yeah. Yeah, not Amy. That's okay. Well, I wanted to go through and just explain everything to you guys, so you guys could kind of see how it evolved. So I'll show you our painting, our original painting again, and then the one from tonight. I haven't done the words, and I haven't totally carved out my circle perfectly yet, right? But you get the idea. Okay, very similar. So y'all know the drill. I would love to see your final painting. So please send me a picture. I'd love to see it. Everybody's greens always turn out so pretty. Everybody always mixes different greens, so I'm really excited to see how those came out for you guys. Oh, yep. That's really pretty.
Oh, wow.
Really pretty. Mm-hmm.
That looks great.
Yeah, it does. Really nice, crisp lines. Really nice.
Ooh.
Oh, Patty, that's beautiful too.
I haven't done my second coats yet.
You know what? But from here, it looks like you did really awesome shading. Like both of you. I don't know if you intended on doing that, but it looks really pretty. Really, really pretty. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. So anyway, y'all just take your time. Take your time with your dots. And if you need to do your second coats, if you guys need help writing anything, spacing anything out, Amy's really good at that, so message her. And send me group photos. The last thing too, you guys already know this, but for those of you catching the recording, please wash your brushes for me. Just rinse them under some warm water until they run clean, the water runs clean underneath, and lay them out on a paper towel to dry so they can dry nice and flat, and then pop them in that bubble mailer that I sent you, or just bring them back by the shop. Either way, if you come by and we're closed, you can just leave them on the patio. That's totally fine with me. However, this weekend, we're having a garage sale on the patio, a couple of different houses. So maybe don't leave them on the patio. If you do, make sure you tell me where you leave them so that they don't get lost in the shuffle of all of the random things that are going to be out there. That would be like finding a needle in a haystack. So anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope y'all had fun. This was a really fun painting. It's a good one to end on. There will be pumpkins coming in October. I think it's the third weekend in October. Maybe it's the second. week. I don't know. I'll look at my planner. But I think I have 2 paint classes scheduled for October. So anyway, I will catch you guys then. And thanks again for joining me. If you have questions, I'll be up. So just send me messages on Messenger or email. And Christina, I'll get your email figured out. I
Okay.
promise.
Okay, no worries.
All
Thank
right,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.